Non, là, j'ai fait ça, regarde. C'est ça que ça va pogner. Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the podcast of Millionaire of the Diamonds. And today it's really going to transform, I believe, remember, we're a transformational podcast on the way that you might fear of what other people might think of you. I think I said that good. Yeah. Can't wait for all you guys to be like me. I just don't care. Na na na. I don't care. Na na na. One day. Okay. So, Mel Robbins, let yourself live in a way that makes you proud. That's going to be my main message today. And I'm going to share with you this principle, how it shaped some of the biggest decision of my life, like marrying Mohammed Mekalash. Oh my God, it's 40 years. Can you imagine 40 years? And I remember when I got married, I know people took bets on how long my marriage was going to last. I swear to God, they took bets, okay? And how I make my decision. I mean, if you circle back to Stephen Covey, roles and goals, for me, it's very easy how I make decision. If it's not in my roles and goals, the answer is no. I don't care who you are. The answer is no. Did you get it? It's that simple. Jean-Philippe will help us understand the science. And there is really a science. I really loved Jean-Philippe that you're going to bring them to prehistoric times. Because I'm going to tell you something. I remember reading once why men are focused on one task at a time and why women can do multitasking. And it's prehistoric times. The man was the hunter, so he couldn't imagine if he focused on multitasking, would never catch the deer to bring back home. Whereas the wife or the women had to be careful that there wouldn't be a fox eating one of their babies. So they had what we call a peripheral view. Okay, so you're going to see today, we're going to continue that to understand, and I really liked it. And Marie-Pierre, of course, the social mirror, helping us recognize why we're always trying to please others. And please don't tell me, no, I don't want to please others. Yes, you do. Because if you didn't please others, you'd be living more your dream life. Ha ha. How do you like that, right? My sister said to me once, I don't understand why people don't ask you for 1,000 things. I said, because I'm planned. And if you're not planned, people will plan your time. Did you like that one? Okay, guys. Okay. So before we go there, we got to share this with everybody that is always too busy to do what is actually important. Over to you, Marie-Pierre.
Yeah, so it's time to share. So you have the text in the comment. If you can copy paste it when you decide to share. So you click on the arrow and you share on every social media platform. But of course, when you have someone in mind that really needs to hear this podcast, the best way to make sure that they will click on the link is when you share it directly by messenger or text message. So use the arrow and then choose messenger or text message to send it directly. And then we have our contest, Les Millionnaires des Diamants. So first, when you go on our Facebook group, Les Millionnaires des Diamants Inspirational Group, every time you post, every time you comment, every time you leave reaction, you gain points during the month to be in the top 10 contributor of the group. And at the end of the month, the official top 10 get a voucher to go shop on the boutique Les Millionnaires des Diamants. And then we have a draw at the end of each month to be in the draw. There's two ways: first with the boutique and the second with the book. So when you go on the boutique, you place an order, you take a picture, and you post on social media and you tag Les Millionnaires des Diamants. And when you receive your order, again, you take a picture and you post on social media and you tag Les Millionnaires des Diamants. And then with the books, okay, you receive one of the book, you take a picture, you post on social media, you tag Les Millionnaires des Diamants. You read a chapter, perfect, take a picture, go on social media, post it, and tag Les Millionnaires des Diamants. So every time you can have a new picture, you go and you post and you tag Les Millionnaires des Diamants to be in the draw at the end of the month. And last thing, if you don't already have your ticket for the next conference, it's time to click on the link and get your ticket to be with us for the next one. And it's going to be a virtual conference. That means wherever you are in the world, you can join us virtually for this conference. And even if the time is not right for you, because maybe of the time, you can watch it in replay. So you will receive the link to make sure that you can watch it in replay. And if you missed the last two conferences, you can also buy the link to get the replay of the last conference. So you have all of this on the same link. So go get your ticket and you will have at the same place everything.
She's so good. Thank God I don't do that part. The podcast would be over. We'll join each other tomorrow morning. All right. So let's dive in right away. I want to say good morning to you, Olga, my friend. Thank you for being here. James is with us. Lise, good morning. Melanie Beauchamp. So happy to see you here, Melanie, because it's always an inside job, I call it, to achieve our next level of success. Sherry Novak, who's definitely being our northern light, I call it. Thank you, Sherry, for everything you do. James, thank you for keeping the team together. The crew, I call it, the crew. So Carolyn is there, Kendra is there, Megan is there. Love it. Louise Gauthier. Martin is with us this morning. Butter is again on special. He sent me the you should post it, Martin. Okay. And Jacqueline, of course. Anna, young Anna is here with us. Good morning. Good morning. So let me dive in. And one of the things I always do when we're reading, always remember that I do have over 60 years of age and over 40 years in entrepreneurship and 40 years married to Mohammed. So I have quite a baggage where I'm able to read something and also be able to discern, is this really the way it should be? So we're reading the entire chapter 5. And then I think of Think and Grow Rich. It's one sentence to make a whole podcast. So my deeper truth, this is what this subject is about. Let them think bad thoughts about you. So I'm going through this and I said, okay, this is good. This is good. Okay. Let me live my roles and goals. So I said, okay, where do we go with this? Okay, there's a question in this chapter that stops you in your tracks. And what she says is, would you do what what would you do if you were no longer afraid of what other people would think? Okay. So that's really a question you need to let go deep in your soul. What would you do if you were no longer afraid of what other people would think? And don't tell me you're not afraid of what other people think. No, no, no. We all are at a certain extent, right? Because let's be honest, so many lives are not destroyed by failure. They are slowly limited by fear of judgment. I know I sell Tupperware. How many people have I met in 40 years that didn't go further or did not join Tupperware because they were afraid of what other people would say? Okay, what will they say? What will they think? Will they approve? Will they be disappointed? Will they think, there goes my cat again? You're such a sweetheart. You're allowed to do whatever you want. Okay. She just threw everything on the floor. It's okay. It's okay. Okay. So what will they think? Am I being selfish? Will they say I'm not a good friend? Am I being foolish? And I could go on and on and on with these examples. And without even realizing, people begin living their life with other people's opinion as their compass. Not their values, not their dreams, not their purpose, not their truth, but other people's opinion. And I can tell you with all my heart, my whole heart, if I had built my life around what people thought of me, I would not be living the life I'm living today. Because very, very, very early on in my life, I learned this lesson the hard way, the easy way. I learned the lesson. That's the point here. I fell in love with Mohammed, an Algerian Muslim man, and I was an Italian, still is, an Italian born Catholic. Now, today, some people may hear that and think, well, of course, love is love. No, 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 no. Back in those days, you got to go back in 1980, 80, 80, 83, 84, 85. This was devastating for my parents. You know, it was a cultural clash. Like, when I met Mohammed, my parents didn't even know there was another religion besides Catholic religion. I mean, I don't know where to bring you with this. They didn't understand his name, Mohammed. My mother, till her death, she called him mo 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 mo, and she never finished saying Mohammed. Just to let you know this, okay? There were opinions, there were questions, there were concerns. They brought me the movie Never Without My Daughter. People said textually, you're making the wrong choice. And I believe some people betted money on how long my marriage would last. So I love this man. I respected this man, and I believed in the life we could build together. And so, whether people understood it or not, I chose Muhammad. Let them have the opinion. Let them wonder if it's going to work. Let them judge. Let them doubt. Let me build my life with the man I love. 40 plus years later, children, Tupperware business, etc., etc. So there's one example that is really powerful in this chapter, and it's about, let them, let me. And I don't know your take on this, but I enjoyed it, but then I'm going to give it my own Maria twist. So when Mel Robbins says, let them think bad thoughts about you, I understand exactly what she means, because people will have opinions whether you move or whether you stay still, whether you say yes or whether you say no. There's somebody that's going to have something to say. Let them think what they want. And I say, let me think what I want. And in one of her stories here that she says, she gave us an example where she has a friend of hers that lives four hours away that was celebrating, I believe, a birthday party. And she had also her grandmother coming to visit. So she says in the book, so what I decided to do was go to my friend's birthday party. So she drove 4 hours to the birthday party. So we're going to go in things less grandiose than marriage, right? So she goes to the birthday party. And of course, before everybody gets up, she already got up and she left to drive 4 hours back. So she'd be able also to see her mother. Now, I understand her thoughts on this. Uh, Even if they may be disappointed that she left early, what was also important was her grandmother. And as I'm reading this, I said to myself, I said, Mel Robbins is still at the stage of where she's overextending herself. And I asked myself, what about if it would have been me at 60 years old today? What would my decision have been? So my good friend is having a birthday party. We're going to say her, 50th birthday party, 40th birthday party. It's big. And my grandmother is coming into town. My way of thinking as Maria Mariano today would be, how does it fit in my roles and goals? So it's very clear that in my roles and goals, and this is where you have to be very clear. Number one, I got to take care of me, my health, my well-being. Number two, my husband. Number three, my children. Number four, my family. Okay, that's sisters, brother, in-laws. Five, my business. You see, friends are not in my equation. They might be in yours and it's okay, but they're not in my equation. So I was just thinking to, what if it was me in this situation? Well, the Maria today that is very clear on roles and goals, very clear on her purpose. And, my compass is always pointing north. I would have done today, sent flowers and a gift to my friend because she's celebrating whatever, but I wouldn't have overextended myself, exhausted myself, driving 4 hours, not getting enough sleep. I don't drink, but let's say we can add in there drinking, whatever, and then coming back and not being the best version of myself for my grandmother. So today, when I read that, I wanted to say, Mel, just send her a gift. Don't do that 8-hour drive. Because at the end, what ended up happening in her story is her friend says she didn't stay for the whole party. And her mother says, you weren't there when your grandmother arrived. So before making decision of what you're going to do, just remember this. Does it fit your roles and goals? And for you to be able to ask yourself that question, you have to clarify what your roles and goals are. So once again, if it's not clear, let me help you out. You can borrow mine. Okay. Take care of yourself. If you have a husband or a wife, take care of that man. Okay. If you have children, they must be that priority. And if you have family, sisters, sister-in-laws, brothers, that is it. And your business that generates income. Everything else is not in your five top priorities. So when you come to a decision, it will always be easy. So I hope you're going to take that and embrace it so you can be comfortable in the decisions you take and never doubt anything. Always remember, people will always have something to say. Now, there is a scientific side to this, and I'm going to allow Jean-Philippe Jacques to bring you the science behind it. Over to you, Jean-Philippe.
Yes, absolutely. So we're going to talk about the fear of other people judgment. You know, that inner voice that make you hesitate before like you're posting, before like you keep silent in a meeting, like when you edit a video or you redo something. So we want to look at what are the scientific pillar under those action and those behavior. So the first one is called the human brain is wired for belonging. Okay, why is it this way? Because since the dawn of time, we evolve in groups. Okay, for hundred and thousand of years, being excluded from a group mean an immediate danger. So no protection, no food, no survival. So belonging was like about safety and rejection was about a potential danger. But our brain hasn't evolved that much. It hasn't changed since then. So today, okay, we treat, okay, those event happening around us the same way. So no, there is no predator like in the savannah or like outside our house, okay? But the same circuits in your brain activate when you post a photo, when you speak in meeting, when you speak in public, or when you ask for something. Your brain reads social disapproval, okay, as a form of threat. Okay, this is why criticism, judgment, and rejection can feel okay, threatening to you. Okay, this isn't a weakness, this is a human survival pattern. Okay, so remember, you're not crazy for feeling nervous about being judged. It's only your nervous system that is trying to protect you. So you need to understand that. Pillar number two, you cannot control others' people thoughts. Okay, so here it's physically and neurologically impossible to control what others people think. Why? Okay, because people, okay, generates their thought in their own brain. Okay, the average human, okay, is having 70,000 thoughts a day. Okay, imagine that. Okay, and most of them are random and uncontrollable. So you can control even like the half of the thoughts that you're having in your mind. So imagine trying to control the thoughts of another person. Okay, it's like trying to steer a car you're not sitting in. It makes no sense. Okay, so we spend our life trying to anticipate, manage, control other people, but the result is chronic exhaustion. Okay, you cannot manage what other people thinks. So the solution, okay, is assume people will think like positive or negative thought about you. It doesn't matter because they do. It's normal, but it doesn't matter. So you gotta let them and understand that it belongs to them. Pillar number three, okay, the fear of judgment will create an avoidance loop. Okay, so what is that avoidance loop? Okay, so when you fear a negative reaction around you, your brain will often choose avoidance. Why? Because it provides you an immediate relief. Okay, so you won't post, you won't like if you don't post, you don't have like to worry about, and like by not doing it you feel relief. Okay, so you always like putting that action later, but unfortunately this is the danger here. Okay, it's a trap. Okay, the short-term relief reinforce the fear in the long term. So your brain is learning avoidance is safe, but the more you avoid, the more you will feel the growth. It's a vicious cycle. Okay, procrastination and perfectionism become learned to protect mechanism. Okay, so here you really got to understand that by doing it, you're always relying that in the future and it will be harder. So how can you take action today? Okay, so how do you break out that loop? Okay, confidence does not come before action. Confidence grows when your brain learn I can act, I can be seen, I can be judged, and still be okay. Life will continue and my life will continue. Okay. So every time you dare to speak, to try, you fail. Okay. And you survive. Okay. That small moment of discomfort, your brain, okay, is updating it and say, okay, that wasn't that hard. Okay. It wasn't not, it was not considered as a mortal threat. Okay. So you got to understand that by letting them, by letting people, you recognize that you will never have control over what people think positively or negatively about you. And by letting them, okay, you like let them have the dot and you let them have their opinion. But by saying, let me, you reclaim your power over life, okay? And you say to yourself, my life is precious. I need, yes, to take that risk because this is what will get me much more closer to my dream life. So if we recap, okay, your brain is wired for belonging. Okay, it's a normal reaction. You cannot control other people's thoughts, and the fear of judgment will create an avoidance loop. But it's only by taking those small action 2 days that you will build a confidence that won't let you fall in that trap. So, Marie-Pierre, I'll let you continue with the quiz for today.
Thank you, Philippe. So yes, because sometimes we don't realize that that fear of judgment now it costs you a lot of energy because you are still trying to manage the perception, to avoid judgment, or over explaining yourself, trying to be light, trying not to disappoint, and that fear of judgment it then it creates for you that oh no, it whisper. Don't post that. No, no, no. Don't say that. Don't say that. What will people think if you do that? Oh, maybe stay quiet. Oh, maybe wait. Oh, maybe shrink a little bit. And then you have that just whisper in your head. And what become exhausting is that no matter what you decide to do, people will still to judge. So if you stay quiet, they will judge. You explain yourself perfectly, they will judge. You try to please everyone, oh, they will judge. You make yourself smaller, they will judge. Anyway, there's someone that will misunderstand you no matter what. So is to have that truth in mind when you are in those situations. So the quiz today will help you see what is your normal situation in normal situation, how you will react in your everyday life. So the goal is not to find what is the best answer, but to answer what you usually do. So it will help you to after that take in control and you can improve yourself. So let's start. So for each question this morning, it's yes, sometimes, or no. It's you have three choice of answer. Yes, sometimes, or no. So let's start with question number one. So did it happen for you that you delay posting something or speaking or sharing just because you wonder how people will react? So yes, sometimes, or no. Question number two. Did it ever happen for you that you soften your goal or dream because you're afraid people will think that you're unrealistic, arrogant, or too much? So, yes, sometimes, or no. Question number three. Have you ever stayed quiet in a room even though you had something valuable to say? So, yes, sometimes, or no. Question number four. Do you ask several people for reassurance before making a decision that you already know that is right for you? Yes, sometimes, or no. And question number five. Do you over explain your choices so people won't judge or won't misunderstand you? So, yes, sometimes, or no. So, did you get mostly yes, mostly sometimes, or mostly no? So if you have mostly yes, you have that fear that is leading you. So a large part of your decision is influenced by approval, that fear of criticism, fear of disappointing other people, and the fear of looking foolish. So that's created maybe procrastination for you, that overthinking process, self-editing, and people pleasing, and you shrink your potential. So you think that you are protecting yourself, but you're just slowly abandoning what you really want for yourself. So you want to start making smaller decisions based on alignment instead of approval. Don't say every day all my decisions. Start with one per day. So it's going to be something that you can build on every day to have that confidence that you can have your decision for your alignment and not for approval of people. Now, if you have mostly some time, you are in the transition mode. So you're becoming more self-aware. So you recognize where that fear show up, where you shrink, where you hesitate. But of course, emotionally, you still negotiate with people's opinions. So this create that inconsistency, that hesitation, and that emotional exhaustion. So awareness alone does not create the freedom. Now you need that courage that will follow that awareness. So you want to take action before you feel fully comfortable. And now, if you have mostly no, you are learning to live in alignment. So you understand that people will think what they think. So instead of organizing your life around approval, perception, and validation, you organize your life around your value, your alignment, your purpose, and self respect. So that will create for you freedom, confidence, and emotional peace. So you want to now the next level is to be an example so you can help other people to stop shrinking themselves around that fear. Because one thing that we want to remember is that, yes, probably when you are about 20, you have that reality, oh, you think everybody is judging you. And then you go over 30 and then you start saying, oh, let them judge. I don't care. And then around 50 years old, you realize something that nobody was thinking about you. Because most people are too busy worrying about themselves, thinking about themselves, judging themselves, and wondering what other people will think about themselves. So you just realize that nobody was looking at you anyway, and you waste some of your life just performing for that imaginary audience. So let them think what they want because probably they don't even think about you. So it's the realization that we need to keep in our mind when we do something and we have that tendency of that fear of, oh, maybe someone will judge me. Let them judge because no matter what you do, people will judge. So, on that, I wish you a beautiful day and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye, everyone.